I'm Diana Rosa, and I'm speaking with Boyd Martin, who lives in Pennsylvania and has been named to the USA eventing team for the Paris 2024 Olympic Games riding Fetterman B. This will be his fourth Olympic Games. He's also competed in a number of Pan American Games, and in 2019 took the individual gold and was a member of the gold medal team. And the list continues. Trust me, this man has represented the United States well in many of the most prestigious events. So Boyd, I want to thank you for joining me today. And I want to kick this off by talking about you. How did that first pony or horse ride get you to where you are today?
Excellent question. I never would have thought that falling in love with horses at a young age in Australia would take me to the other side of the world and get me to the Olympic Games. But in all honesty, I think I grew up in a very sporting family, and I also was just terrible at school. And thank God I found horses, because I wonder if I didn't find horses, where I would have ended up in life. But I think I enjoyed the process of training horses. I love competition, and still to this day just can't wait to get out of bed and jump on the horses and work away. And it's amazing where horses take you in the world. I've been lucky enough to compete all over the globe and had many triumphs, many disappointments, ups and downs, highs and lows. It's been a wonderful ride.
Yeah, I think those highs and lows are important, because we always get better when when wherever we go and with all that we do. All right, so this is your fourth Olympic Games. What does it mean to you?
Oh, it's it's the pinnacle of the sport. It's one of those. We're in a small sport, worldwide eventing, and obviously the people in our little bubble, yeah, they follow the 5 stars and the international 3-day events pretty closely. But every 4 years, we're sort of on the true world stage against all the other mega athletes and mega sports. And I don't know, it's just an unbelievable competition. It's a true, I don't know, it's just something that only comes around every 4 years. So it's a special event, and only 3 people from each country get to go. And it's something that I've sort of been focused on, and trying to make sure that I get on the Olympic team while I'm in my prime here.
How do you plan to prepare for it?
Well, to be honest, the planning starts probably 2 years out. I think 2 years away from the Olympic Games, you've got to, in eventing, I think you've got to have a couple of horses. There's so many things that can go good or bad, or up or down, or high and low. Or so, truly in about 2022, I sort of had a group of horses that I thought could be there, and I'm left with 2 very strong horses. Fetterman B's the been picked on the team, and then I've got a direct reserve called Commando 3. So it sounds glamorous going to the Olympics, but it's just thousands and thousands of hours of practice. It's there's lots of just training and practice, and then picking the right lead up events, and knowing when to push your horse and really go for a win, and knowing when to be conservative and save them, with this sort of long-term picture involved. And I think the big thing with making an Olympic team is the timing, of making sure that you've got your horse in form, performing really well, you're healthy, they're healthy, about 2 or 3 months before the Olympic Games. So that's the critical part.
That's actually great information to share with our viewers. I mean, it is important to know where you are and where your horse is. Let's talk a little bit about your horses. You can start with Fetterman, but I know that Commando's another one. So our viewers always like to hear a little bit more. What's it like in the barn? What's it like to ride him? A little bit more.
Well, he's a quirky horse. He's very hard to get on. He's very hard to catch. But other than that, he's just an angel. He's a very quiet, laid-back horse. He's a gentleman to ride, and most top-level event horses are lunatics, and this guy's he's just a pleasure. But he is quirky. It's a sad story how he came to me. He was a student or a good friend of mine, Annie Goodwin, had the horse, and tragically she was killed on him in a cross-country schooling accident. So while we were in Tokyo 3 years ago, we got the shocking news that she'd had a fall, and and the parents thankfully sent Bruno to me, and at the beginning we didn't really get along that well. He'd only been a sort of a one-horse for Annie, and he wasn't too sure of me, and our first couple of events were a disaster, and then after about 6 months we really started to click and gel, and at that time I sort of brought in a large syndicate, a big group to own the horse, and who would have known, but a couple of years later we're going to the Olympic Games.
All right, let's talk a little bit about Commando.
I mean, Connor's probably one of the most amazingly talented horses I've ever sat on. He's a little greener than Bruno. He's hit the ball out of the park at the 4-star level, and he's ready to go 5-star. So I think it was a tough decision for the selectors. They probably went with the more experienced, seasoned horse in Bruno. But Connor, I feel like in 6 months' time, he's going to be one of the best horses in the world. So I was a bit sad for Connor, just because if it wasn't for Bruno, he would be going to the Olympics. But part of me also thinks that, it might be just a moment too soon for him where he is in his career. So, after sort of going back and forth, I do think experience does count at the Olympic Games.
Oh, I think it's really good for anybody. It's good for the rider and good for the horse. And so 4 Olympic Games. So you started in Tokyo, then you went to London, then you went to Rio, and now you will be in Paris. I've been to all of them, or will be to all of them after Paris, and I look forward to seeing you there. And I want to thank you very much for joining me. Do you have any last words you'd like to say?
Not really, but thanks for having me on, and I'll be giving it my best shot.
I will watch you as you do that. And I am Diana DeRosa, reporting for the EQUUS Television Network.